Hello everybody, welcome to a Decktech from me, Andrea Mengucci. I am guest of Card Market today, and I'm going to tell you about my pet deck, Vivien combo, and later, at the end of the video, I'm going to show to you also a sideboard guide. I know as a writer that sideboard guide is the most important things, but first, let's get a little bit into the deck. Vivien on the Hunt combo, this is a combo deck, but it's not like a wonky tier 3 combo deck only. It's a Yorion Omnath deck. So we're playing 4 color to cast Omnath, and we have 80 cards with Yorion as our companion. Yorion as our companion is going to be super important because very often, thanks to Omnath, you produce so much mana that you can easily pick up Yorion, and then thanks to it, you make card advantage, blinking Risen Reef, blinking Oath of Nissa, and you just draw extra cards. So adding 20 cards to your deck isn't actually a big deal because your cards are all so good. You play cards like Wrenn and Six and Teferi. Those are some of the best Planeswalker in the game. Wrenn and Six banned in Legacy, Teferi banned in Pioneer. Wrenn and Six on turn 2 just makes your deck work. You get land drop, you trigger Omnath with your fetch lands, you reach an amount of lands that lets you outcast easily the Vivien. What's the combo of the deck? I said that this deck is a combo deck. It's really easy. It might sound convoluted to explain, but all you need is to cast your 6-drop Vivien on the Hunt and to have him play a 3-drop. That's all you need. It's like saying, okay, this is a 1-card combo, you pay 6 mana, you have any 3-drop in play. It can be a Renegade Rallier, it can be an Endurance, it can be a Planebound Accomplice. What does Planebound Accomplice do? It's a 3-mana card, 1/3, that sneak attacks a Planeswalker, so you win the game with Vivien on just 4 mana, because all you need with Vivien is having a 3-drop in play. You sacrifice the 3-drop, you go get Felidar Guardian. Felidar Guardian, it's the cut from Aether Revolt that blinks Vivien. You sacrifice Felidar Guardian, you go get Karmic Guide, which recently got added to Modern thanks to Modern Horizons 2. You reanimate Felidar Guardian, and you blink Vivien. You +2 again, sacrificing Felidar Guardian, getting Kiki-Jiki Mirror Breaker. You make a copy of Karmic Guide, reanimate Felidar Guardian, blink Kiki-Jiki, and you have your combo kill. What happens if you draw your Karmic Guides or your Kiki-Jiki? Well, you can't win anymore. Unfortunately, if the card is in your hand, you can't win. Although what you can do is you just still do the thing, go get Solitude in the end, kill your opponent's stuff, and then next turn just cast a Kiki-Jiki. The 3 per red mana, it might seem hard, but this deck again has Wrenn and Six to filter it, you have 16 fetch land, it's an excellent deck. As long as you fetch correctly, you're gonna be good. Another very important addition to the deck is Eladamri Call. Eladamri Call is basically a toolbox for the people that love, I don't know, Birthing Pod or Chord of Calling decks. Eladamri Call lets you get all you need. You can cast Eladamri Call on turn 2 to go Renegade Rallier if your hand is a little bit clunky, you need a 3-drop to ramp up your lands. You can get Omnath, you have a fetch land and a land drop to make, you can go Omnath, 5 mana, cast Solitude. You can play Solitude instant speed or Endurance. Actually, there's one main deck Endurance, so that you have an edge against Living End. They cast Living End, you go Eladamri Call, grab Endurance and melee you. Or, post-sideboard, you have very important cards like Lavinia, Azorius Renegade, like Magus of the Moon, or like a Knight of Autumn. You can even play Emrakul, or you can play, you know, a Melee Mage, Kataki. You have like a toolbox of things if you want to add. You have extra interaction in the main deck with Prismatic Ending and Lightning Bolt. You can also play March of the Otherworldly Light if you face a lot of Saga decks, but Lightning Bolt, pretty excellent removal spell in the format. And you have some 1-drop to begin the game. You have Utopia Sprawl. Try to put it on the forest, because Boseiju is a card. So yeah, also Blood Moon, especially post-sideboard, and then Oath of Nissa, that fixes the mana for your Planeswalker, actually relevant, because sometimes you cast like Plains on turn 2 or Island and you cast Wrenn and Six. Try to take as much little damage as you can with your fetch lands. This deck, of course, is a control deck. You want to cast your 6-drop, so preserving your life total on Shockland is super important. Just go Jeskai Triome on turn 1 into Forest, or just Forest, cast Utopia Sprawl, choose red, play Wrenn and Six. Try to shape up your mana base very much in order to get basic lands. But there's also one non-basic lands in the deck, It's Boseiju with a second copy in the sideboard. This card is obviously, you can tutor it, so it's just pretty natural, but it's very good. You have Wrenn and Six to return it. It can get rid of Urza Saga, Blood Moon, a lot of things that are annoying. I don't think I've mentioned it, but I think it's quite important to mention the one of Planebound Accomplice. Why there's only one? The previous list played 4, but this deck isn't anymore all in. And you have 4 Eladamri Call, so you can easily set up the kill. If you have 4 mana next turn and you have Vivien and Eladamri Call, you go end of turn Eladamri Call for Planebound, kill you on turn 4 with Planebound Vivien. Or if you have 6 mana, you go Eladamri Call for Planebound into Vivien. You could also just go Vivien, but then you need a 6-drop in play, whereas the Eladamri Call into Planebound fixes for that. Let's talk about the sideboard. In this days there was a card market, I made a top 5 decks, and I put Living End, Blue-Red, 4-Color, Hammer, and Titan. So these are the 5 matchups that I'm gonna cover here. I think the most important thing that I realized pretty early when testing this deck was the matchup against Blue-Red. Murktide, I think it's very good. I think 4-Color is heavily favored, but this deck was a little bit less favored than 4-Color Elementals because, you know, Vivien, the combo itself is not so good. So what do? Is actually you take out the whole combo. So we sideboard out 4 Vivien, 2 Karmic Guide, 2 Felidar Guardian, 1 Kiki-Jiki, and 1 Planebound Accomplice, 10 cards, and we bring in 2 Veil of Summer, 1 Boseiju. Boseiju is important because of Blood Moon. You try to play around it, but sometimes you just can't, especially if they have a Ragavan turn 1, they can cast a Blood Moon on turn 2, so all you can do is just grab a Forest, and then the Boseiju might be relevant. So 2 Veil of Summer, 1 Boseiju, 3 Endurance, excellent, just excellent card in this matchup, and 4 Flusterstorm. And while Flusterstorm doesn't sound outstanding as it does against Living End, you know, I would prefer to have a Mystical Dispute in this matchup or even another Veil of Summer. Flusterstorm is important to let your spell resolve, so you go turn 5, I don't know, Omnath with Flusterstorm backup, or Teferi with Flusterstorm backup. It's also important to counter your opponent's expressive iteration. So this is the matchup where we have the basic island. Second matchup, very important, is Living End. I think this matchup is bad game 1, although of course we have access to Eladamri Call for Endurance and even Teferi. But just not having any counter spell makes us like obviously bad in the matchup, especially since the combo deck itself of your opponent shuts off your combo. There's a card, the Whale, the 7/7 Whale, that you be like, oh wow, it stops your Felidar Guardian. All your Felidar Guardian gets stopped by it. No, it doesn't, because what you do is you have Vivien of the Hunt, you make infinite copies of Felidar Guardian, they're all 0/4. Then with the last Felidar Guardian, you blink Vivien, and then you go sacrifice 1 Felidar Guardian to get Solitude, to exile the Whale and then attack with your infinite 1/4. But anyway, the sideboard in this matchup, you bring in the 4 Flusterstorm. This is why I have 4 Flusterstorm, because I think that this deck is the best, Living End. 3 Endurance, again, this is the matchup where I have the 4 playset. Veil of Summer, 2 Ob. Veil of Summer actually relevant, they have Grief, they have Force of Negation, Mystical Dispute, and 1 Lavinia. Lavinia makes so that your opponent cannot just kill you with Living End, they have to deal with Lavinia first. And you take out the removal spells. You take out 4 Ending, 2 Bolts, I take out 3 Wrenn and 6. Keeping 1 Wrenn and 6, I think keeping 1 Wrenn is fine. You don't want to draw another one, but sometimes you can afford to play it on turn 2 if you're on the play. And then I'm taking out 1 Solitude. While it's fine sometimes, they have a lot of X-proof threats, and loading on Solitude isn't that good. Sure, you know, if they go Living End and you go Solitude, you can exile 2 creatures, but it's not as good. Let's go to 4-Color. So I think that this deck has a slight edge against 4-Color, as you can just win the game with the combo. Sometimes the 4-Color mirror match, both players have Teferi, one player resolves Emrakul and wins. Here, it's much easier than resolving Emrakul and winning. You can just resolve Vivien and win. So normally, against Elementals, I wouldn't sideboard, but against the version with Counterspell, I would bring in the Veil of Summer for the Lightning Bolts. So that's how you sideboard in this matchup. 4-Color Elementals, no Counterspell, 0. 4-Color Control with Counterspell, bring in 2 Veil of Summer for 2 Lightning Bolts. Clean. Hammer Time. Hammer Time is another very strong deck, and I think has an edge against us, because we are a little bit too slow. Sure, we have the combo, but it's 6 mana and etc. Plus they have a card that completely shuts off your deck, and that's Ashbringer. Your deck is so cold to Ashbringer, you have to bolt it or end in it, otherwise your deck just doesn't exist. Solitude Cut doesn't work, the combo doesn't work, it's really hard to beat that card. Okay, so against Hammer, we don't have that much sideboard. Unfortunately, in order to have a lot of things to do against Blue-Red and Living End, you're kind of cold against Hammer. Although I don't expect Hammer to be that popular. Anyway, I only bring in 2 Knight of Autumn and 1 Boseiju, cutting 1 Forest and 1 Teferi and 1 Endurance. Final matchup, Amulet Titan. Once again, we don't have that much, although we have Magus of the Moon. And that's an incredibly powerful card because we have 4 Eladamri. So it's like we have 5 Magus of the Moon, which is day and night in this matchup. So that's a very important thing to note whenever you play, and whenever you bring in Magus of the Moon, just fetch up basics because you're going to Blood Moon. We bring in 1 Boseiju for a forest, and then we take out the Endurance and a couple of Teferi. We're bringing 2 Night of Autumn and the Magus of the Moon. Overall, I think the most important thing to know when sideboarding with this deck is how to sideboard against blue-red, which is just swap. Just become a 4-color elemental. Your deck is so good against them, you're gonna win. You have a lot of power level, don't care about the combo anymore. The combo is needed against the 4-color matchup. The combo is needed against the random decks that can threaten you, like, I don't know, Titan Shift, for example. You would always lose if you don't have the combo, but with a combo, you can kill them on turn 4 or 5. Vivien on the Hunt combo, 4-color, you're an Omnath. It's my pet deck. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Write in a comment, hey Mengu, I loved your deck tech. I hope you do more next time. What about this deck? Yeah, I mean, I really like to talk about the decks that I like. And this Vivien deck is really unexplored. A lot of people focus on 4-color elemental or 4-color control. No one's focusing on this Vivien deck, so I love this is the place where I like to do the most.